Hey everyone, and welcome to Stock Talk on January 14th. So it's been a while since we've done a video, I believe, and we've been pretty busy within the course for the members, and almost doing a daily video, for the members. So been pretty active over there. In the meantime, I'm back on here at least for a video for everyone, an update. So here's what we've got, right? We left off, I think, on this red candle, and we were talking about probabilities. And at the time, I said, in my opinion at least, that the probability still lied to the upside. And at that time, the markets were pushing lower, right? So here we are. Now we're at we're closer to the resistance than the support. Let's put it that way. Okay, that's number one. But the thing is, ask you a question. Are we at resistance yet? And the answer is no. The resistance is at 263, which is well seen in past instances. Remember, as you know, previous support becomes new resistance when we break under it. So we're looking at this level. We're not there yet, so we can still make a push to the upside. So what have we been doing? If I zoom into these daily candles of the SPY, you can see the past 6 days, we haven't really gone anywhere. What you can imagine is what we're doing is overnight, we get pushed down. During the day, we get brought up. Pushed down overnight, we get brought up. So this is what you're seeing in these green candles. So from what we're looking at here, it looks like the markets wants to make a push to 263. But all that coming together, note that, you know, we have earnings coming up. We have like Netflix earnings coming up this week and all that. So the thing about this is we can start coming down. Perhaps we'll get an initial flush down, but not towards 233.76. And then we'll get that rally back to 263. That is entirely possible. So we'll have to watch for that. Remember, we haven't tagged the 263 level, so it's still possible that we get there before, let's say, we get back to these lower numbers. Let's say possibly SPY 240. But we'll have to take this day by day and see how things pan out. But for now, the markets look okay, but I would not be surprised if we make a down move first, followed by a recovery back to 263. Because in my opinion, the market will need to test 263 at least once before possible rejection and move to the downside. Okay? All right. Now, if it comes down first, that might happen too, right? If it comes down first to 233.76, my point here being is that we're in the uppermost quadrant of a possible bounce target. All right. What's next? Let's take a look at TVIX, or volatility. So volatility, in contrast, you can see is we've been going down pretty steadily every single day. Even though we made an update, you know, a positive day today for TVIX, it's been a pretty sizable downtrend. And what you can see from here is, I thought this was just kind of interesting how we made two green candles. People call this an inside day or inside the candle, and then we made them move to the upside. Here we have an inside day, two red candles, and then it looks like from this case, we'll make another move to the downside. So of course, if SPY goes to 263 and makes a run for it, TVIX is going to be moving lower. It's going to be moving lower 10% or more. You know, that's very possible or likely that it'll push lower. And then perhaps we'll come down to possibly $40. But we'll have to see and take that. But what we can see here is so far, we are moving on a downtrend, but SPY, you know, is getting close to resistance. You have to take that in mind, because I would not be surprised in the future. Now, you know, the time period's a little, you know, it's hard to say which time period we're going to be talking about, but sometime in the future, I would not be surprised if we make another run towards $70. Okay. Right now we're on in near the uppermost bounce target, like I said, and anything past 263, we'll have to reevaluate the case. But I think the likelihood is low that we are able to get past 263. Okay, so let's take a look at crude oil. So recall in the past discussion about crude oil, we talked about how crude oil was on a nice uptrend and that we had to have a risk-on mindset in order for crude oil to move higher. And we, in fact, did. As the markets pushed higher, crude oil pushed higher, right? Or crude oil was almost leading the charge. If you were imagining, if you're watching crude oil was moving up first, and then the markets kind of follow after. Not to say there's a one-to-one correlation how crude oil, if it moves first, then, but what we can see is, you know, that it was something that was interesting, right? And it happened. So in this case, now what we're looking at is crude oil's making a turn back to the downside, getting rejected the 50-period moving average. So once again, just want to place a little bit of caution. You can see crude oil went down 1.5%. That's quite a bit. Obviously not something, you know, to these magnitudes when we're on a such sizable sell-off. But once again, wouldn't see this surprised if this sold off a little bit more before we get another push, perhaps back at a retest of the resistance level or the moving averages. Natural gas. So here's something that's pretty interesting. Natural gas had a pretty sizable move to the upside. So what we can see is all of a sudden we crossed over the 20 with definitive and impulsive action. So now what we have to see is the next few days, can it maintain this level or can it get past 3.563? Today we did get past actually this level, 3.563, but for all intents and purposes, I think we're pretty close to resistance. So we're past the 20. I think bullish UGAS or natural gas is okay. I think the stance is all of a sudden more bullish natural gas, but we'll have to see and evaluate in the next, let's say 2 to 3 days, and see how we can, if we are able to maintain this level. If we can maintain this level, this is a pretty nice potential natural gas reversal back to the upside. But until then, I think if you were not in this move today, then it's hard to make a case. Now, can it start pushing even higher in the next few days? It can, and then you can obviously certainly make a case that you guys will be making a push towards the resistance box once again, right? We talked about the resistance box, but until then, I'm kind of just watchful waiting at this point. 4/GC or gold futures. Gold futures, and if you listen to my stock talks for the members, we talked about how it was fluctuating with the support at 1287. It's really apparent now, but we started talking about it, I believe, on this candle. We talked about how gold, you know, all of a sudden could be potentially looking more bearish, but what you can see here is, in fact, it's consolidating sideways. So while it hasn't been able to push over the resistance of 1296, this could be making a push back to the upside, but I think a daily close below 1286, and of course we are looking at a more bearish scenario for gold. If I had to pick a choice, this would be more bullish action for gold, because you can imagine, what is it doing? It's consolidating at a support for another potential move higher, right? But that's for you to evaluate, but that is gold. So gold's looking good. All right. So thank you everyone for watching this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Please hit the like button if you enjoyed or learned something from this video, and I will see everyone soon in future stock talks. Of course, check out the course if you haven't. A lot of fascinating content in there, a lot of things I'm sure that you will learn that will help in terms of your trading strategies. Until then, I will see you all later, and of course, happy trading.